Welcome back, drawing buddies. This week we're going to draw the Incredible Hulk from pencils to inks to colors. So if that sounds like a fun way to spend 23 minutes, I think, or so, then let's draw. The Incredible Hulk's first appearance was in Incredible Hulk #1, and I'm pretty sure that was in 1962. I think it was still a 10 center, so I'm not sure. I have to look that up. But the Hulk was originally gray. He was not green. But the problem is, the printing technology of the early 1960s was inconsistent. And the gray from page to page in the book looked a little different and weird. So Stan and Jack decided, you know what? Green's a safe color. We'll make him green. So they changed the Incredible Hulk to green in issue 2 with no explanation at all. Because back then, you know, they weren't worried about continuity or anything like that, or the canon. They're just like, gray ain't working. We're going to make him green. And that was it. From that point on, the Incredible Hulk was green up until I think issue 324, where they brought the Gray Hulk back. And then you got Joe Fixit and all that fun stuff. But we'll get to that a little later in the video. But the Incredible Hulk on Inception was not very popular. It only lasted 6 issues. And then he was unceremoniously canceled. He didn't have the popularity of the Fantastic Four, and I don't think Spider-Man was out yet. Or Spider-Man was just appearing during those 6 issues, but there was no Spider-Man #1 yet. And then, when Bill Everett was screwing up his deadline on Daredevil and he's going to be late, and Jack and Stan had to rush a book to fill its publishing spot so they didn't lose it, they created the Avengers, and they made the Hulk a founding member of the Avengers. But I'm pretty sure that only lasted for like 2 issues, because I think it was issue 2 or 3. The Hulk quit because everybody distrusted him and wasn't sure he was a team player. And the Hulk's like, I'm done with you guys. I want to be somewhere where I'm wanted. Because the Hulk was not super smart, but he wasn't like Hulk smash yet. He was just a big brute. He's more of a Jekyll and Hyde kind of analogy. And this is my second or third Hulk that I drew. My first one was similar, but he was jumping to the side, and I didn't like the way he fit on the page. And it just looked, it looked fine. The Hulk himself looked fine, just layout-wise, and it just would have been a headache with backgrounds and stuff. So I'm like, let's put him jumping straight at you. And then I get this far, I'm like, you know what? The Bakugo I drew a week ago is pretty similar to this. Except his arms aren't up in the air, they're pointing at you. And then I'm like, and so is the Daredevil from a few weeks ago. So I guess I've been working on my jumping poses the past few videos. So if you noticed, cool. If you didn't, cooler. So, but this was a pose that always used to give me trouble. So the fact that I'm banging it out now and it doesn't suck, I'm kind of happy with it. Another rough thing, I mentioned this in the Spider-Man video, is getting the Hulk's face to look right is rough. There's a few different ways to draw the Hulk, but you can't just draw a human head or a bigger, blockier human head. There's things you gotta do to make the Hulk look like the Hulk. Like Erik Larsen, he drew the Hulk just like a big, tall, green person. And it was Erik Larsen, so it was awesome. At the same time, it wasn't really the best Hulk. Todd McFarlane drew him as a big scary monster, and that worked, and he had the things down. I think the things you need to make a good Hulk, and Dale Keown had that down too, is he has to sort of look like a gorilla. He needs like more space between his nose and his upper lip than a normal person, and the big cheekbones and stuff. But once you do that, everything else doesn't matter. You got a Hulk. My Hulk, this mouth, I love it, but when I flipped his head over, it was all crooked and stuff, and like, argh. So I had to even it out later on in the video. See how crooked my head is? I didn't use the cheat code of putting that little line down the middle, and it draws both sides at the same time for symmetry, the symmetry ruler, I think it's called. But live and learn. He also needs these big eyebrows to look popular. To look like the Hulk. This may sound weird, but the first 2 issues of the Hulk I ever bought were 2 of the most popular issues of the Incredible Hulk to buy. I bought Hulk 181 and I bought Hulk 340. It was shortly after Hulk 340 came out, so it wasn't like, oh my god, this is the coolest thing ever and it's worth tons of money. It was just another issue of the Hulk, I think, but it was worth more than cover price. I think they were selling it for like $7 or $8. But I bought it because I saw the Wolverine cover. I'm like, that is sick. Todd McFarlane nailed that, and as I've mentioned in other videos, I started with Wolverine, the X-Men, so I was like, oh my god, I need that in my life. So my uncle used to give me $20 to buy comics when we went to the comic book store when I was like 12 years old. And so that's one of the books I bought. And at the comic shop we were at the same day, they had a box on the floor that was unpriced, and it was just like really low grade stuff. And I asked, is it okay to look through this box? They're like, yeah, go ahead. Anything you want, we'll price it when you bring it up, because we didn't get to price on any of those yet, because they weren't even in bags and boards. So I was digging through this box, looking at all the comics, and towards the bottom, there it is, The Incredible Hulk 181. Even at 12 years old and being fresh and new to comics, I knew that was a book to get, because I knew that was the first appearance of Wolverine, because he was my boy. It was rough, man. It would probably be maybe a 2.0 on a good day these days. But the cover was attached. It did have a Marvel stamp. I found that out later. I didn't know about the Marvel stamps at the time, but I did find out about them eventually, and I looked, and then that book did have one. And so I brought the Hulk 340 up to the counter, and I brought the Hulk 181 up, and it looked like, Hulk Day, huh? You got some nice ones. I said, yeah. Depends how much the whole 181 is, though, because I have to, I only got $20. And the guy looked at me, looked at the books. He's like, all right, give me the $8 for the 340. And he's like, how does 10 sound on 181? I said, $10? I'm like, all right, cool. Because on the wall, he had a much nicer copy, and it was $100. I'm like, oh, deal. I'll take it. So my first two Hulk books were an Incredible Hulk 340 and a Hulk 181. Because back in the, I guess it would be the late 80s, the comic stores, no matter which one you went to, they always had a wall. And on the wall, which was usually up high that went around the corners of the comic book store, at least the ones around me had all these. Probably because they all started with the same guy, Sam, and he did it, and they all learned from him. But anyway. And they always had on that wall a giant-size X-Men #1, a Hulk 181, what's the other one? An X-Men 94, and an Amazing Spider-Man 129, the first Punisher. And all those books, except for the Punisher, were always $100. Didn't matter what store you went to, if you found those books on the wall, and they had some combination of all of them every time, they were $100. So even like a nice VF near mint copy of Hulk 181 at the time was $100, which was out of the realms of possibility for a 12-year-old kid relying on his uncle to buy him comic books. But as an old collector, you're like, damn, I wish I could have bought every single one of them and put them in a box and forgot they existed, because that would have been sweet, just having a ton of Hulk 181s. Then I got another Hulk 181 later, a much nicer one. I bought a bunch of comic books from the mailman, Willie Nelson. My mother was a permittee at a Polish club, and he came in, and yes, his name was really Willie Nelson. Not the Willie Nelson, but Willie Nelson. And he said he had some old comic books and asked if I wanted to see them. I'm like, yeah, sure. So a couple weeks later, my mother called when I got out of school, and luckily I was home. And she said, Willie Nelson brought his comic books down if you want to come see him. So I had to walk to the Polish club, which was probably an hour. Whoa, hold on. The pencils are done. It is time to ink the Incredible Hulk. The rest of the video should go quickly from this point on. So I go down to the Polish club, hour walk, by the way, and I look at Willie Nelson's comic books. Like, oh, this is cool. You got some good stuff. It's all Silver Age stuff. And he's like, yeah. Well, if you want any of them, just give me $1 for each book. I'm like, oh, well, that is absolutely affordable. And so I looked, and I didn't have any money. I was 16, 15 years old. I had no job. And I went to my mother. I said, Mom, please give me $160 right now, and I'll pay you back next week. She's like, how are you going to pay me back next week? I'm like, don't worry about it. Just please let me have $160 because there was 160 books that I wanted. So she gave me the money. I bought Willie Nelson's comics. And in that box was a first appearance of Barbara Gordon Batgirl, a second appearance of The Flash, showcase number 8. There's a bunch of early Flashes. There was no 105, but I'm pretty sure it was started at like 108 up. There's a lot of good first appearances in there too. I don't remember them all, but it was a great box, and I loved having that box. And then eventually I had to sell it to buy a car to go to college. And I brought it to a comic shop, the guy Sam that I mentioned earlier. And he was looking through the box. He's like, listen, I want to buy these. I don't want you to take it anywhere else. I'm going to make you a fair offer, and I'm going to throw in a little something to sweeten the pot. So he made me the offer, which we won't tell you what it was, but it was enough to buy a used car in 1994. And he puts a box on the table next to it. He's like, and also you could pick any one comic out of this box, and I'll throw it in with the money I offered you. And I looked through the box, and it was all low quality stuff, all low grade stuff. It was a Fantastic Four #1. There was a Spider-Man #1. I think there was an Avengers #1. And then there was a Hulk 181 that was in really, really, really nice shape, like a near mint copy. And I was going to take the Spider-Man #1, which I should have taken the Fantastic Four #1, but that's a whole nother thing. But a friend of mine who was with me at the time, he was a huge Hulk guy. He wanted a Hulk 181 bad, and I needed monies. So he said, take the Hulk 181 and I'll buy it off you next week for $350. I'm like, oh, all right. So I took the Hulk 181 instead of a Spider-Man #1 because I'm a dumb teenager who needed a car. And that was the second Hulk 181 that I bought. And then there was another comic shop that was a little further away. Shortle's Time Warp. You can look it up. It's not there anymore, sadly. Papa Shortle, they used to call him. He did comics forever, probably as long as Sam did. And I was going through his boxes, and just in a regular box, he had Hulk 180, 181, and 182. None of those had value stamps. Well, I think the 182 did, because I don't think some of those were made without value stamps. And those were $5 each, so yeah, I bought those. So yeah, in my life, I've had at least 3 Hulk 181s. I think there was another one, but I don't remember, but 3's enough. Because now I don't have any, and that makes me sad. And with the prices on them now, I probably never will. But that's alright. It's cool that I own them and I can say that I did. So I'm getting this video done, and it's going to go up on Thursday instead of Friday. Not that anybody really can tell because they haven't watched it yet. Because I'm doing Terrificon this weekend. And I'll be set up there selling my wares. I will have prints of most of the things that I've drawn on this channel, including this Hulk. Some of them in 2 different sizes even. 11 by 17 full bleed and 8.5 by 11 full bleed, so there'll be no borders on them. And some of them will even be 12 by 18, because it took me a while to figure out what sizes I was going to do for all this stuff, since I'm doing my own prints now. But the coolest thing I'm going to have is the all 4 Mutant Ninja Turtles drawing, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I made some 18 by 24 inch posters of those. There's only 4 of them, and I don't know if this part of the video will be a short or anything, or if anybody will watch it before. So if you want one of those, get there quick. Also, I did the smash letters again, similar to Bakugo, because I just like the layout. So this is very reminiscent of the Bakugo drawing. And the smash, I did draw the letters. I didn't make them off the internet or use a font. Those are hand drawn. And I recorded hand drawing the letters. But I'm like, man, this will make a very boring video. So I did not include it in the video. But if more than 5 people leave a comment saying that I should make a video on how to draw letters, I will do it. But that's it for the inks. It is now time to color the Incredible Hulk. The thing I really like about the colors on the Incredible Hulk, if you could tell by the corner box and the finished drawing, is it is obnoxiously colorful. I am a big fan of bright 80s coloring. I like fluorescence and in your face kind of like colors. If you don't, it's definitely a choice, but it's my thing. I dig it, and whenever I can, I use ridiculously bright covers. I used to be a graphic designer at a book publisher. They used to do educational books, and I used to do the flyers and pamphlets for the books and trade shows. And I would always do my first draft in some really bright ass color, and it always looked awesome. And they always made me change it to something more toned down and boring. So like if I used a bright orange, they'd make me make it a dull blue. My rationale was, you're at this boring educational book publishing summit and you're looking for books to buy for students to have in your curriculum. And I figure everything looks the same. All these catalogs are boring. Nothing exciting about them. So I figure if you put a big splash of color on these things, people would love it. And it would pop out and it would stand out on the shelf. And they would be more likely to buy your book. Because that's the whole point of advertising, right? They didn't agree with me. So they always made me tone down my colors. But it was a good learning experience. I learned a lot about design and all that stuff there. I probably learned more working that job than I did at actual design school, because you learn that stuff on the fly and on the go. The reason I drew the Hulk, because I actually drew the Hulk probably 6 months ago, maybe less, I don't even know. But the Spider-Man movie came out, and the Hulk is featured heavily in the Spider-Man movie. So I'm like, yeah, I'll do Spider-Man, and then I'll do the Hulk. And it looks like it might have been a good decision, because Spider-Man's making billions of dollars, and people are watching the Spider-Man video and the Spider-Man shorts, so that's nice. So hopefully that'll carry over to the Incredible Hulk here, although I'm going to have to like preload all my shorts and stuff for this video, because I'm going to be sitting at a convention. So tomorrow night, after I go set up for the convention, which starts on Friday, I will be sitting down in my comfy chair, and I will be doing shorts probably for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. I'm just going to keep doing shorts until it tells me I can't do anymore. I'm trying to get all the shorts done until Sunday. So that way I got the whole weekend to just worrying about con stuff and not stressing out about doing things for this video. I mean, I'll still answer comments and stuff like that, but I just want to sit down and talk to people and have a good time at the con and not worry about views. It'll be a rare thing, but it'll be nice. I thought about doing Joe Fixit Hulk, you know, gray and more McFarlane-esque, but I decided to go green because I'm at the point where I have 1,000 followers and I need hours and views, and I figured Green Hulk would get more views. I know it's kind of cheesy and kind of baity, but I needs to get the watch hours. I still need a few thousand watch hours or tens of millions of short views. They have gone up though. I got my highest viewed short ever recently, so that was nice. It was one of the Spider-Man ones, talking about McFarlane's spaghetti webbing involved. No, it wasn't. It was about the webbing on his suit. So that was a weird one for people to get into, but I'm not complaining. And I've been getting a lot more followers than I have been before I hit 1,000, which is awesome. I love it. But I'm not getting the hours, so if you guys got this far, go back and watch a few of my videos. Pad the books a little bit for me. I'd appreciate that. I know it looks like I banged out these colors really quick in the background and everything, but it took me a long time to figure out the background colors for the Incredible Hulk. I went through many iterations of the background colors because they were just blending too much into the Hulk. But I think the obnoxious pink, blue, and green and yellow kind of work. I just cut out all the other variations of the colors for the most part because I didn't want to bore you all. But with that, the Incredible Hulk is done. I'd like to thank you all for watching. Like, subscribe, and do all that fun stuff I should talk about at the beginning of the video when people are actually watching. Have yourselves a good week. If you're at Terrificon, stop by and say hi. And if not, go out and draw something.